Hey home bakers, if you came here for a formula to convert fresh yeast into dry yeast, just half it. 20 grams of fresh equals 10 grams of dry. And for those of you who came to see me messing around, roll that theme tune! Hello to you and welcome back to the Bake with Jack YouTube channel. And you saw it in that last video, didn't you? Dry yeast instead of fresh. I know. Let me explain myself, okay? I've been preaching forever about how much better fresh yeast is to dry. And then, like many of you keen beans may have noticed recently, I switched over to the dry side. Why? I hear you cry and kneeling on the ground, staring up at the sky with tears in your eyes, clutching your chest. Why? Pandemic, innit? Yes, that's right. Well, during lockdown, I was going out of the house to post 100 of your shop orders every single day. Yes, that was me. Yes, I was allowed. And yes, it did upset the lady in the post office every day. Sorry, Jackie. I didn't quite feel comfortable walking around the supermarket if I didn't have to. And now things are kind of returning to normal. They don't sell fresh yeast over the counter anymore. So I made the switch to the dry kind. Fast action, easy bake, whatever you want to call it. The fine powder version. And you know what? It's all right. 7 grams is the quantity of dry yeast I normally use for a loaf of bread. That's pretty much half of the 12 grams that I normally use of fresh. There's no real need to get too hung up on that sort of thing. Half is a good rule of thumb and it puffs things up fine. Some people say a third. I don't think that's enough. And during this time I've been using dry yeast, you could say I've become quite accustomed to it. It kind of feels more convenient psychologically, although really it's not. I still put it into the moisture before I mix everything up into a dough. And I'm sure loads of you are out there at the moment screaming at your tiny screen saying, yeah, but Jack, you can just pop the dry one straight into the flour. And you know what? If you're kneading your bread dough anyway, you can do that with fresh yeast too. And even if you couldn't, is it actually easier or is it just marketing? The only thing that is different is you keep fresh yeast in the fridge and dry yeast in your cupboard. Huh? Is it? Store in the fridge after opening. Huh. I must admit, I've been wondering for a while exactly why I used to go on so much about fresh yeast until the other day I had a very important task at hand. I've been writing a lot of recipes recently for some reason, and I needed to convert some measurements for fresh yeast. What on earth do? I thought to myself in despair for about a minute, and then I got in the car and drove to Morrison's and got some out of the fridge. 168 grams of yeast, 55 of my fine English pennies, and a 9-minute car journey later, I'm back at the studio. And you know what happened? This is what happened. Oh yeah. Man, I realised how much I missed this. The character, the freshness, the memories of time spent together. Everything I used to preach perched atop my soap box came flooding back to me. And the dry? It's simply not the same. And so an apology is necessary to my past passionate self for forgetting him in amongst all the chaos of the past nearly 2 years. Fresh really is best if you can get it. And if you've never tried it and you pass some on the supermarket refrigerated shelf, pick it up. Inhale those delicious aromas. Ooh, and give it a try. And if you can't get it where you live, it's too much hassle for you, do not let that be a barrier between you and amazing bread at home. Get the dry one and make some great bread anyway. Because whatever you make with fresh or dry yeast in whatever weird shape it comes out of the oven, you made that. It's far better, head and shoulders above any of the crap you can buy in the supermarket. See you next time. Bye-bye. And there it is. I hope you enjoyed this week's pretty much love letter to fresh yeast as we rekindle our friendship lost over the last couple of years. Don't forget, if you enjoy what I do, you can get all of my content from the week in your inbox every single Thursday by signing up for your weekly Home Bakers Bulletin. Link in description. See ya.